there! This is my first video post-COVID. It will be up 2 weeks after I started having symptoms, so at least I had the time to add a voiceover to it. But you might have to bear with my voice. I am almost done recovering. Additionally, this was a setup that is so close to my heart that I really wanted to tell you more about it. Starting with the fact that I love these notebooks so much. The brand is Person Mirror, a brand that I advocate for because it is proudly made in Mexico and the quality is simply stunning. I chose this beautiful mint green one for my mom because that is her favorite color. This is a model Hope from the line Emotions, and it's just so pretty. I love the contrast of the cover and the golden lining, and I could sing praises for their 120 GSM paper. I just love drawing on it. There's a video where I review their notebook if you would like to check it out, and of course, I will leave my discount code in the info box if you're interested in getting one. Setting up my mom's bullet journal has been a blast for me. It is a simpler journal in the sense that it has less collections than my own, and I also try to draw a type of art that is easier. So I start with an easy cover with a touch door that will open up into the year at a glance and a super simple drawing of pine trees. The year at a glance is just a complete calendar of 2023. Some people like me like to add it because it's practical to have it there when planning. But if you are starting on the bullet journal method, know that you don't have to add it, or you can just print and paste it if you would like. Being inspired by the notebook's color, I went for a green palette, and you will see me using the humble yet versatile Crayola Super Tips and one Tombow dual brush. Using markers takes me to my childhood when they were my favorite tool to draw. I always ended up with marker spots on my index finger because, sometimes you're not looking when you're putting the cap back on, and well, this time around it happened again. It's the little things like that that made this whole setup so nostalgic and dear to my heart. So here you see me drawing in those pine trees. I remember growing up I used to be annoyed by the lines that naturally occur when you draw with markers, but for those pine trees it turned out to be a beautiful advantage. The streaks looked like the pine tree pointy leaves, and then as I layered the colors, it gave them a really cool shade and more dimension. I was worried that the ink might bleed through to the other side of the page, but like I said, this paper is a delight to work with. No bleeding or ghosting, even with all the layering that I did. Moving on to the future log, this is the first collection that is officially used in the bullet journal method. To understand how it works, I always insist on you reading the book, and you can also watch a video that I made on how I use the method. Since the bullet journal is built on a daily basis, the future log is where all future events or tasks reside. In theory, you don't have to add the current month to the future log, but I just can't stand to see an incomplete year, so I added for aesthetic reasons. I made a little mistake and forgot to add the index first, but that's okay. It's just one collection behind. The index is another basic for the method because your future self can go back in time and look up things with easiness. It might sound like an unnecessary spread. I also thought so the first time I started bullet journaling, but my future self realized what a time saver it is when looking for important events or a recipe that I loved. Now I am adding 2 collections that my mom finds useful. The list of what goes into her go bag or emergency backpack, and the when did I last tracker, where she will add all the things that are repetitive during the year and that she doesn't want to forget doing, like important errands or self-care habits. Here, I am going to add another basic of the method, which is the key for the bullets. These are the heart of any bullet journal. Again, if you want to find out how it works, read the book or watch my video. I like to paste the key on the back of a front cover so that it can be opened up for easy reference while journaling. With this, the initial setup is done. And since that would have been a very short video, I decided to add the setup for January. As for the theme, the first year I did her favorite flowers, the second her favorite movies, and this year I will be featuring some of the things that she loves from Mexico, starting with the city where she was born, where I was born and the one we left behind when we moved out, but we really miss it so much. So here I am drawing a sort of skyline with the most representative buildings of Mexico City. Tell me if you can recognize them. A curious fact about one of the city's most representative icons, the Independence Monument, or the Independence Angel, is that it fell during one of the city's most atrocious earthquakes in 1957. The fall from 170 feet resulted in its destruction, and the only thing that survived was a smashed head that people can see at the city's historical archives. The structure was reinforced and another angel was built. It is a bronze statue coated with gold leaf. Until this day, it stands at the usual spot for Mexicans when they want to celebrate or have their voice heard. Another important landmark is the Latin American Tower that rises to 545 feet. It is widely recognized internationally as an engineering and architectural landmark, since it was the world's first major skyscraper successfully built on a highly active seismic zone. It was Mexico's tallest completed building for almost 27 years, from its opening in 1956 until 1982, when the 702 feet tall Torre Ejecutiva Pemex was completed. Although the structure of the Hotel de Mexico had already surpassed it a decade earlier, it wouldn't be finished until 1994. This hotel is now known as Mexico City's World Trade Center and stands at 627 feet. If you ever visit, go to the rotating restaurant on the top at sunset. It has one of the best views of all the city and the food is really good. Loads of memories were made in that stunning place. Back to the setup, I added the monthly log and next to it the mental inventory, which is another collection that writer Carol features in his book, The Bullet Journal Method. This is where you start each month, writing down every task or project you need to do so that you can start prioritizing and breaking tasks into smaller steps. I added an organillero, a Mexican character that you can see all over the country, but especially in the downtown areas, where they play their very unique music from a wooden box, and welcome any tips you would like to offer. It is said that they have been filling the streets with their melodies since 1880, and in 1975 they even formed their own union. As for me, every time I hear one, I think of my dad, because he would always tip them in appreciation of their hard and timeless work. Now I am adding a place for my mom to write a line a day or a gratitude log. This is a beautiful practice that I think everybody should be doing, even if you don't use a journal or even if you won't write it down. Just stopping at the end of the day to think about the things we're grateful for puts us in a happy mood and makes us better persons. There's always something to give thanks for. I am also adding a handy shopping list and then the first day of the year, which is a Sunday. And this will be accompanied by another icon of Mexican culture, the sweet potato ride. That sounds too funny, but basically, it's a metal cart that drives around the streets after the sun goes down. You know it's near because its smoky chimney shrieks with a loud and long whistle that can be heard from up to 6 or 8 blocks away. I could not find the year when they started this tradition, but there is a town, San Lorenzo Malacopa, in Toluca City, where it all began. Approximately 20% of its population is dedicated to the sale of sweet potatoes or the manufacture of the carts. They also travel to other states of the Mexican Republic with their carts and their distinctive whistle. I remember running with my dad to buy sweet potato or plantains that are baked on the go, over wooden logs that reach up to 752 Fahrenheit, and you can add condensed milk or strawberry marmalade to them. My mouth is watering as I think of it. Those treats really hold one of the city's most traditional flavors. And now, all that is left is for me to set up the wigs. I set them all up because I am doing this for my mom, but the original method is built on a daily basis. So you could say that I am putting together a personalized planner that my mom uses as a bullet journal. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, this is the part that might seem tedious, but I just enjoy it a lot. Especially because usually the themes I pick are close to my heart. So for now, I am going to leave you to the background music so you can enjoy watching the rest of the setup. This is the final flip through of my mom's 2023 personalized bullet journal. I had a blast putting it together. It brought so many memories back, and it's definitely a tribute to my beloved city. If you visit it, or if you live there, please enjoy it all on my behalf. And well, I think that this was a good overview of the basics of bullet journaling. It gives you an idea of how it works and what it can look like. I always like to remind you of the fact that the bullet journal original method is not about art, it's about productivity. You don't need to know how to draw to do it. If you're just starting and want to benefit from the organizational tool that it is, go to the official webpage bulletjournal.com to find out more about it. Read the book, trust me, it is a life changer. And if you like my style and the twist that I give to it, don't forget to subscribe for more creative content. If you're already subscribed, thank you for all the comments and positive feedback. I really appreciate it. And as usual, thank you so much for watching.